around your flickering campfires and listen to tales of daring, dragons, and high adventure from the whiskock pages of history.
Was there a heady combination of excitement and bloodlust simmering under that intro?
There was, wasn't there? Are we in Wales this time, dear Uncle Bob?
We are, Uncle Bilbo. We're diving into the constant and heavy epic of battle, betrayal, and boyos, which will tell us the little-known tale of the last king of Wales, Gruffydd ap Llewellyn.
Isn't the Welsh head of state the Prince of Wales?
Tombo, don't. It'll be like when those reenactors said English longbows. I've never seen so many grown men get bitten.
This is true. I was picking their middle-aged skin out of my teeth and mums, but it's all right, chaps. It's all right. After all, King Griff is a little-known figure, and what's some light teasing between friends? After all, this is
the Silliest Boys show.
Anyway, the King of England is the King of Wales.
Right, you asked for it! You couldn't keep a lid on it, could you? Here comes a condensed history of Wales.
Well, I suppose it'll be useful for the story.
In AD 51, the Romans conquered a tiny, rainy island on the far west of Europe, Britannia.
The people there were a collection of Celtic tribes who the Romans labelled the Britons.
Technically, the Britons weren't Celts, but then there's 3 battles to cram into this, so...
The Britons were a tough bunch. They spent 100% of their time shirtless, painted blue, and riding chariots. According to the Romans, anyway. So the Isle of Britannia took a lot of civilising.
And by that we mean it took a lot of Roman-style super cruelty before everyone in Britain put the scythe chariot down and started wearing bedsheets and eating dormice.
Although they probably enjoyed the wealth, security, and central heating that the Romans provided. But in AD 374, the Romans went home.
You see, being Roman had finally caught up with them, and the empire was under attack by all the people that Rome had civilised over the years.
And you might think that the Britons would be glad to see the back of them.
The trouble was that as the Romans moved out, someone else was moving in.
These people were Saxons, or Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, to be precise. They did not wear bedsheets.
These Saxons were a tough lot, used to mixing it in Europe with all kinds of rough, uncivilised people. And the Britons, on the other hand,
were wearing bedsheets.
Eventually, the Saxons took over most of the east and south of Britain.
It took a while, and we don't actually know how it happened. But this is the easiest version of the story. It may well be wrong. But the point is that literally no one knows.
In this 300-year period, there is only one document that we know of from the actual time, which is why this part of history is called the Dark Ages.
Eventually, the Saxons turned the east of Britain into England.
The Britons didn't call it England, they called it Clygau, which means the lands that were lost. It is in fact still the Welsh word for England.
The Britons were shoved into the mountainous west of the island.
Wales and Cornwall. Well, at least they kept all the good tourist spots.
Indeed, but while these lands were rich in natural beauty, they were difficult to farm and a long way from the old Roman world that the Britons probably missed.
Is this why it's called Wales then? You know, because of all the whaling.
No! The Saxons called the Britons the wheelhat, which means foreigner, which is where we get the place name Wales and Cornwall from. And indeed, any place that has Waller in it has a connection to my sadly displaced ancestors, who would likely not have called themselves Welsh because this was a foreign label. The Welsh/Britons were not all one people. Wales was made of lots of small kingdoms and none of them were called Wales.
Oh, lighten up, Bob. This was a very long time ago. Come on, why don't you tell us about this lovely king of yours?
Who, Gruffydd ap Llewellyn?
Yeah, him.
I can't really. Don't really know much about him. No one does. Not his early days, anyway.
Would you like to rely on some conjecture and mystery?
Okay!
The year is 1023. and we find ourselves up in the top left-hand corner of the land we know today as Wales. It is night, or nos. See, listener, I'm making the effort. According to my Ancestry.com, I am Welsh, 8%. Unlike some people...
That's enough of that. More specifically, we're on the island of Ynys Mon, or Anglesey, at the fortress of Llewellyn, the seat of King Llewellyn at Cecil.
And even more specifically, it is the night of January the 1st, an evening of mischief.
It was a tradition that on the first night of a year, a person must commit an act of bravery.
It could be as small a thing as a child jumping out on their parent.
Pack it in.
Ow!
To listening at a keyhole for your neighbour's secrets.
I wasn't ill at all. I took the day off so I could watch it not come home.
All across the town, people are seeing in the new year with little acts of courage. All except in the bedchamber of Prince Gruffydd in the palace of the king.
What was that? Is that spooky giggling now? Oh, if it's that daft sister of mine, I'll pull the head off her lol doll, 11th century or not. He's coming from my wardrobe. You're in for it now, sister!
Surprise! You were so scared I bet you've pooed your pants.
I haven't.
I bet you have.
Well, even if I have, you jumped out of my wardrobe with a chainsaw, even though they haven't been invented.
It's January 1st, I'm allowed.
You are not!
It is a custom in this country that tonight, which is the first night of the year, all the young should go out to raid and steal. We are a warrior society what specialises in ambushing and raiding our more powerful neighbour.
I know! Duh!
Then what brave thing have you done?
I've downloaded Duolingo. I'm gonna learn Welsh.
Dear brother, it is to the great shame of the king of this realm that you have become the scorn of all and a byword for laziness. You are the only son of the king. I beseech you to go out now and do something which is very simple and quite without risk. So long as you do something.
Are you quoting the exact words of the Chronicles to me then, is it?
That's right. It's written by Walter Map in about 100 years from now and is one of the very few accounts of your early life.
Fine, I'm going.
Bye! Brilliant. Now to chainsaw all his teddy bears.
Shamed by his sister, Prince Griff creeps through the sleeping fortress down to the kitchens.
Ever Mummy's chubby little secret. The boy fancies snaffling something sweet.
Oh, just a little Welsh cake maybe, buttered with jam and cream and biscoff and fudge. Oh no, there's people!
Even at this late hour, the kitchens are filled with servants.
How's that stew coming along, Di?
Well, what it is I put the stock in and the carrots and the barley and the onion and the turnip and an entire cow's worth of beef, but I don't know. Do you think it'll be enough?
That'll be enough to feed 100 people for a week, Di.
Well, it's the 11th century, innit? What does I have to feed 100 people for a week? And I tell you one other thing. There's a bit of gristly fat in here, and it keeps bubbling right up to the top.
Well, push it down and let it render out.
Every time I push it down to the bottom of the pot, it just bubbles back up again. I simply cannot stop its meteoric rise, as though this bit of gristle was driven by some sort of supernatural manifest destiny. Oh!
The cook's words hit the hiding Griff like a hammer. The image of the fatty gristle churning and turning its way to the top of the bubbling water has a sudden and profound effect on him.
It's my destiny, innit? I am the gristle, and I shall float to the top no matter what.
Oi! Get out of the kitchen, you light-fingered snaffler, and lay off the Welsh cakes.
Oh no, my eating difficulties!
Di, do you think that boy had some sort of epiphany who was watching your cheap cuts of beef bubble about?
Yeah, I think he did. It happens all the time. We are a lyrical yet unpretentious anxious people daft, and there are many examples in Welsh culture of household objects and homely things taking on traits of prophecy and destiny in it.
You think it needs more beef, don't you?
I do! I think another half a cow would be perfect!
From that day forward, little Prince Griff carried himself in a different manner. Now he knew his destiny to be king of all Britain.
Oh, hello. Delighted to meet you all. I am Prince Griff, king in waiting. And what do you do?
I clean the toilets, Your Majesty.
Oh my God. How fascinating and great also to be out in the fresh air.
Yes, my prince. No, here comes the fresh one.
Oh, lovely. How fascinating. I will let you get on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Manifest destiny does funny things to people, listener. For little Griff, it gave him a near pathological self-confidence.
In the name of the three kingdoms, I declare this window open. Go on and clap then. I am king.
But destiny never takes a flat, straight road, especially not in Wales. And foolish young Griff would find this out when the happy day finally dawned.
In 1023, Griff's father, Llewellyn ap Cyslaf, who was king of Gwynedd, Powys and Denhebeth.
Gwynedd, Powys and Denhebeth. Ah, that's good, innit? Wow, well, cool. What are Gwynedd, Powys and Denhebeth?
They are the three biggest kingdoms of the Welsh in the 11th century, meaning that King Llewellyn used to rule nearly all of Wales.
Spotted the used to there.
Yes, it's 1023, which means he has just died, and so we rejoin the story in a grey and sombre day as King Llewellyn ap Cyslaf, king of the Britons, is laid to rest. He is a great loss to the country.
Well, not for everyone, apparently.
Do I hear skipping? And singing? I hope that's not our main character, because that is grating.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to join this man and this whoops. Yes, I know, I'm doing it. We are here today to join this king and this box in...
I just can't wait to be king. Hiya everyone, I'm here for the crown now, please.
This is a funeral, your father's funeral. What is wrong with you?
Alright, I'm just excited, that's all. Now hurry up and make me king, please.
Well, this is awkward.
Allow me, Bishop. Come here, nephew.
Hello, beloved Uncle Yakko. Have you come to see me crowned?
Well, little Griff, let me explain.
Oh!
Children don't get to be king in Wales.
Oh, he punched it.
Now go and sit quietly with your mother till I can find a time to have you quietly murdered.
Oh, quietly murdered? Please, Uncle, no. It's one of my biggest fears.
Oh, come on, my son. At least you're just being killed. No one knows what happens to me.
Oh, but I wanted to be king, Mum.
Well, if you're going to insist on crying and snorting, then I will have to leave you here to be brutally murdered by your uncle. All right?
I'll be good.
The former queen of the Three Kingdoms drags her snot-trailing son down to the harbour. Waiting at the Grey Quay are two ships with dragon heads on their prows. Could we be getting some unexpected Viking action?
Morning, your majesty. Fleeing the country, is it?
Yes, please, Swathy Viking. My son seeks passage to Ireland.
Oh, we're not going together, Mum.
No, I'm going with these handsome romantic Vikings.
What charm to see. Hello there.
Tidy. And you're going with these historically accurate Vikings.
This is the worst day of my life.
So far? Look at it this way, little Griff. You've lost everything, which means you've got nothing to lose. Good luck, my son. My time in this historical record is over. But your story's only just begun. Farewell. Oh, Now, boys, come on! Let's get this long ship to Ibiza!
Oh. Goodbye, ma'am.
Stop crying, you little biff. Take your place at the oars. We leave with the tide.
I can't row, I'm only 13.
That sounds like your fault and your problem. Now row!
Oh, wow.
And so the poor prince sits his soft bottom down on the hard bench.
His pink fingers grip the rough oar.
Thunder rolls off the grey sea, and the rains begin to fall.
The boy rows, and the silly history montage begins.
Each stroke moves the hands of time.
With each sweep, royal squish turns to lean muscle.
The tearful eyes go hard and grey like the sea and mountain.
The years flash by, and so do many lands.
Until the wheel of time turns full circle, turns 15 years, back to the same grey sea and green mountains, to the same exact spot.
A boy sat on the bench to row. A man rises and wades ashore.
Gruffydd ap Llewellyn has come home.
What a terrible nightmare. I dreamed I'd forgotten my PE kit, and then the sea washed in through my bedroom window. I must lay off that cheese on toast. Right, well, might as well get up and start my royal to-do list. Wait, that's not right. All it says here is, get murdered.
Well, I'd hate for you to be late for that, Uncle.
Griff, where did you spring from, you horrid boy?
That's a very good question. The historical record is very sparse in that regard. But it's safe to say that having been passed over as king, I went off and became a legit history badass. I suppose I ought to thank you, because you jumping the queue made me the man I am.
King? The lazy and useless snotty boy you were? What kind of king do you think you'd be?
Well, we'll find out, won't we? Or rather, I will.
Wait! There's nothing in the historical record to suggest you personally killed me, and this is a children's show. Ah!
Sorry, Uncle. Sorry, children. No loose ends.
Borodah, your majesty. Oh dear. King's dead, is it? I assume you'll be the new one.
That's right, pal. You're taking this very well.
It's 11th century Wales. We get through a lot of kings. Here's the crown. I wouldn't get too used to it. You'll doubtless be murdered before lunchtime.
Well, I'll have a busy morning then. Be a pal, mate, and get the door. My pals, the Amphibians, will be waiting.
The who, sorry?
The Amphibians, or the Idiots in English, are a diverse collection of disparate hotheads that I've collected on my undocumented and probably fictitious adventures to distant lands.
Oh, lovely. I take it they're represented by a cacophony of silly voices.
That's right.
Oh, hello there, we're here for the coup.
We're not historically accurate!
But we are King Griff's personal army of toughs and murderers.
Oh, shudder.
Get to work, boys. Bring me a kingdom or two.
Tidy! After leaping out of the murky bushes of history and wasting his uncle, Griff laid claim to the kingdom of Gwynedd, aided by a personal army of idiots.
Amphibians, idiots, or possibly hotheads being the closest translation.
Asked an actual Welsh speaker, did you?
Yes, he had never heard of the word.
Idiots and hotheads they might have been, but King Griff's pet morons did an exceptional job of putting him on the throne.
Chronicles suggest that the Amphibians were landless second sons from all over Britain.
An army of middle children is a frightening concept. After Gwyneth, the king laid claim to the kingdom of Powys and got crowned there too.
Oh, boys, by kind, the dragon's breathing fire now, eh?
Yeah, but, isn't he just roughing up his own people?
Oh, well, yes, he is. But actually, not according to him.
Who goes there?
A lady of Gwyneth. And I can ride where I want, you big daft and fiddy on you.
Calling ourselves the idiots is really doing a number on my self-worth.
Settle down now, Chris. My dear Diane meant no offence.
I did. You were always an idiot, little brother, and so were all your mates.
Oh, boss, can I go and do some deadlifts?
Of course you can, Chris. Don't let her hurt your feelings. Let me have a chat with my sister. You wouldn't think he was 40, would you?
I'd say he was older.
I'm going.
So, Griff, are you here to tell me why everyone I know is disappearing all of a sudden?
I have no idea what you mean.
Oh, really? What about Howlap Yakko, who you sent out to buy pillows for your new palace? And he fell over on the way home and accidentally choked to death on a deluxe super pillow?
Yes, very sad that.
Or that Rotherick boy, who you invited to your hall to see the new waxed lino in the kitchen, and he slipped and fell on your own knife half a dozen times.
That's not how I remember it.
Or that Theo, who you invited out for an improving walk and pushed off a
It
cliff.
was dark. I thought he was Austin Healy.
And finally, our own nephew Melon, who you kidnapped and locked up in the deepest dungeon, weighted down with iron chains.
He came to use the gym in the basement. Is it my fault that he's an almighty dead with some balance issues?
You killed our nephew.
I kill no one. I do but blunt the horns of the children of Wales, so they do not harm their mother, our country, or myself, their father, and their king.
Well, I don't think all the dead people see it that way.
Well, I've not heard them say as much. So where are you riding, good sister?
I'm past caring, so I'm going. You're all the same, you Welsh nobles in the 11th century. You keep murdering and murdering until you kill the wrong person and end up getting killed yourself. And everyone else picks up the pieces.
That is how it has been, yes. But I will show the kingdoms of the Welsh that they are better together than apart. And if I have to bang some heads together to convince them, then I will.
Better together and ruled by you, is it? I told you, brother, I'm past caring. So either let me go, or blunt my horns. Hurry up, it's raining.
Of course, go where you will, sister. I shall remain here a while. The rain pleases me, you see. All those little drops that come together to form a mighty river.
Or a puddle. Goodbye, brother. You'll come to a bad end, I'm sure.
No doubt, sister. No doubt. Come out now, lads.
Tell you what, boss, your sister is mean.
Where to, boss? We gonna lay out some jerks in South Wales next? I hate those guys.
Well, not yet. We're going east. I thought we'd pop in and see the neighbours.
But that's England, isn't it? Aren't there rather a lot of them?
Everybody needs good neighbours.
In 1039, King Griff finally stopped whaling on Wales and sent raiders across the border into England.
At this time, the neighbours were dealing with the events of episode 78 of the Silly History Boys show. Of course, you'll remember it word for word, listener.
What happened again? Apparently I'm a complete bimbo again.
King Canute has died, and there's a big hassle about who's going to be king of his...
Vasnosi Empire.
Was that Emma of Normandy?
Probably. The point is that the Kingdom of England is looking the other way when Griff and the idiots creep over the border into the lands of Mercia.
Mercia had once been a kingdom in its own right, founded by incoming Saxons about 500 years ago. But now it was an earldom and part of a united-ish England. But the Kingdom of Mercia and the Welsh were bitter ancient enemies.
Glory to Mercia, Earl Leo Frick.
Glory to Mercia.
What's that, cock?
Oh, I thought we could say glory to Mercia instead of hello. You know, to show that we're Mercians, the ancient kingdom of the Midlands.
Oh, I'm not sure that'll catch on, but anyway, what news, minion? Is Peaky Blinders back on the telly?
No, my lord, there's right trouble on the border. The blooming Welsh have been pinching things and setting fire to all our gear and that.
Didn't we build Offa's Dyke in the 6th century to stop those lummocky pillocks?
Kind of, my lord. Offa's Dyke is a 177-mile ditch along the border between England and Wales. But it's not like Hadrian's Wall, it's just a big trench.
Ah, fine. Gather the army of Mercia and bring forth my greatest warrior, the ant-snorting Prince of Darkness himself.
Glory to Mercia! Sharon! I mean, glory to Mercia.
Edwin, my brother, you shall take our army across the Great Dyke and give them cheeky Britons a right bosting.
All right, brother, it shall be done. Now, where's me spear? Sharon! Have you seen me spear? Someone's moved me spear! Glory to Mercia! Sharon!
And so, generals gathered in their masses.
Just like witches at black masses.
Yes, all along the border between the Earldom of Mercia and King Griff's land in Powys.
Get him moving! Where's me blessed sword? Sharon!
First over Offa's Dyke were the housecarls, hardened warriors marching in step to their thumping Germanic techno marching song.
We are about to pay salute you! Get to the chopper, techno.
Next came the feared, the ordinary people of Mercia who served with the army when called to and did ordinary jobs the rest of the year.
Yeah, actually, mate, I'm doing marketing and David Beckham studies, majoring in Beckham's, obviously, yeah.
I can't believe they got us out of the union for that. I should be in the library teaching ChatGPT to write essays.
Amateurs! This is worse than the polka blues band when I pooed in that lift.
But as the Mercians passed into Wales, there was no sign of King Griff's raiders. They had vanished into the deep valleys and hills of Powys.
Now comes Wales's greatest weapon, the weather. A wind-whipped drizzle that soaks the shivering Mercians to the skin.
The mountains loom, towering and hostile. At their flank, the river Camlin runs high and fast, fed by the driving rain. Yet the Mercians dare not move too far from the water, lest they lose their way in enemy country.
But of that enemy, there is still no sign, and the sun is going down.
Blooming weather! Why do people come on holiday here? And where are the bleeding feud gone? The sun's going down.
Fallen behind, my lord. They cannot move as we housecarls do, with our muscles hardened by the European rave circuit.
I've got a stone in my shoe!
I can't see a chuffing thing. I've got the sun in my eyes and then this stupid wood on one side and the fast-flowing river on the other, and our best troops are separated from the rest of the army. I'll tell you what, these are bloomin' perfect conditions for an ambush.
And now, a hard rain flies from the failing sunlight.
Out of the foreboding green comes a hail of stones, spears, and arrows. Under the hail of pointy things, the Mercians prepare to defend themselves.
But they have been caught sock-handed, struggling with their heavy packs and baggage.
When a chilling sound echoes across the darkening valley.
Let's give him some sugar, boys!
From out of the green comes a wave of consonant-heavy fury.
A shower of spears and spit that crashes into the hapless housecarls.
The Welsh charge smashes deep holes in the thin Saxon.
Spears thrust and swords sing in the twilight as the old enemies go at it.
You hit the kid, I hit you.
You're not a Peaky Blinder, you're a Saxon boomer!
The fight is fierce, for these neighbours are not good friends.
The housecarls battle hard, axes hew and shields crash, but the odds are stacked against them.
Oh, flipping Nora! This is going to heaven and hell in a handcart.
The Mercians edge backwards.
Dog dirt. Must have been a great day. Wait, that's the river.
Get him in the drink, boys! Horse!
From the rear, King Griff looks on, his boots unmuddied and his sword unbloodied. He looks downriver to the second part of his trap.
Tidy.
Okay, guys, I am exhausted. My chosen career path of 3D printing Bitcoin has not prepared me for tramping through mountains. Mountains that have some very loose stones that can easily go in your shoes.
Oh no! I forgot to start my Strava? What a waste of steps!
Hey guys, what's that big crowd of people up there? Is it a festival?
Maybe it's a folk festival and we can all get tie-dyes.
Oh, no way!
Bagsy first platting!
Ambush! Hide your iPads!
No, come on guys, it's time to be heroes. We could rescue those beefy boys.
Flaps is right, yo.
Let's go!
Things on the end.
Totally forgot about the arrows. Should we just stay here?
Yes, please!
Totally fell on my keys.
Meanwhile, back at the River Camlan's edge, a death scrum is ensuing. In the cloying river mud, the Huskarls of Mercia are losing ground. Their feet slip as their shield wall slithers back. Back towards the river, the deep, fast-flowing river.
Back to Mercia with you! And if you float well, tell them Gruffydd ap Llewellyn sent you!
At this final drive, the muddy bank finally gives way, sending the heavy Huskarls to their death.
Way down by their mail and big boy pecks, hundreds drown, and the long spears of Gwyneth and Paris finish the rest.
Including the Earl's brave brother, Edward.
Upriver, the terrified fjord can only watch as the dripping spears turn to face them.
Should we see if we can, trender?
Yeah, they do look pretty cheesed off.
Shall we just run then?
Yeah, I'm totally up for running. Let's run.
And me.
And me, definitely.
Okay, let's run.
Okay,
Let's run.
Blimey, look at them go. Maybe they got a lecture.
Not as steady as the other lads, were they?
Should we let them go, boss?
Oh no, Chris, catch up with them and kill as many of them as you can.
But it's a kids' show, boss.
Sorry, Chris. Sorry, children. The Battle of Rhydagros, which means the cross at the ford of the river, was a stunning victory for King Griff.
With England dealing with its King Canute's successor crisis, King Griff had his Mercian neighbours over a barrel.
For the first time in hundreds of years, a Welsh king took land from England.
And the plunder from Griff's Mercian raids now filled a healthy war chest for the King of Killer Wales' next undertaking.
Oh, clean yourself up.
I am the picture of restraint and scholarly professionalism.
Then why are you dribbling?
It is an unrelated eating disorder.
Well, as long as you've got those dangerous nationalistic urges out of your system.
Yes, it was a lovely story of violence and carnage, as per Uncle Bob, but next week we best get back to some history that people may have actually heard of.
Except that we're not quite finished yet, because there's probably at least 2 more episodes of this Dragon's Tale.
More obscure Welsh history. Will our audience stats survive?
More people in Nigeria have actually downloaded the show than in Wales this year.
Yes, they have. It's a gamble, but it's all going to change. You Google Gruffydd ap Llewellyn and almost nothing comes up. But we will be telling the whole blood-soaked cheese on toast tale right here on
The Silliest Boys show.
He's tanking the gig.
So, for all the lethal consonants,
Offensive accents.
And ropey pronunciations.
We are...
as always,
Silly!
Last Action King of Wales, or episode 95 of the Silly History Boys show, was written and produced by the Silly History Boys. The parts of Dafydd Clwyd, the kitchen steward of Riflin Castle, Bishop of Bangor, and a very, very silly English amphibian who sounded in no way like King Menelaus from the Siege of Troy episode, and also Earl Leofric, Earl of Mercia, who also appeared in episode 78 of the Silly History Boys show. Oh, how's it taken us so long to be Mercians? The part of Servile Tom, a dribbling, poo-stained mess of a man, Yakko ap Cynan, a gruff and wicked uncle and King of Wales, and a gruff and wicked Viking, and a gruff and heroic Welsh soldier, and... stealing the show this week, Edwin of Mercia, the ant-snorting Prince of Darkness himself, and a silly beardsman were voiced by Tombo Fermor. Shannon! I can't do it as well as he can. Jared Butler the Butler, a rough Viking, a rough Brummie soldier, a rah-rah feardsman, and a hard housecarl, and the ever-present criminal Chris were given voice by Will, Uncle Bilbo, Tristram, Dioch, Uncle Bilbo, Dioch, and Vas. Diane, King Griff's annoying little sister, was given voice by Gemma Velma von Bob Hob. Thank you very much. And a cameo from Emma of Normandy. Hey, we're in the Dark Ages. We gotta hear from Emma. And also, Queen and Harrod, Queen of the Three Kingdoms, was given voice by Ashlyn Line of Lashing Rain voiceover. Thanks, Lash. Absolutely incredible, as always. Tell you what else is incredible, the sheer amount of music that we managed to get through this week. There's a lot. We have to thank ZapSplat of ZapSplat.com. We have to thank Jez Hewitt of Des Hewitt Music Productions. Thanks very much, Jez. If you're a school child in Wales, you might know that jolly little dutty about the Sospan. Jez turned it into a full-on cinematic epic, and we have his permission to use it. Cheers, Jez. It sounds amazing. We also have the amazing Danny Bradley of Danny Bradley Music. Brian Bolger. Brian, wherever you are, your tracks are great. We also have Hooray for RG as well to thank. We also have, obviously, Scott Buckley of Scott Buckley Music. But this week, we also have The Sounds of Time to thank. Thank you very much, Johnny, for your brilliant sound effects. And Vicky, if you played on them as well. Thanks, Vicky and Johnny. We like Vicky and Johnny. They are cool. And we like The Sounds of Time. Right, that is all the music, unless you count Lord Fastfingers for the Silly History Boys show theme tune, which I personally don't. It doesn't count. 95 times he's been thanked now. 95 times we've also thanked the incredible zips, zaps, splats, and boyings of the amazing ZapSplat.com. Free sound effects for all the family. And also, ether sound effects as well. I got us some new bow and arrow sound effects because I think after 95 episodes, we need some more. Treat yourself, listener. Treat yourself. Oh no, that's not all the voices, is there? I forgot me. I'm so humble. Yes, the parts of a housecarl. Incidentally, we all did housecarl voices. It's and I left some of them out. A theadsman. We all did theadsman voices as well. Di, my nan, and also some generic Welsh soldiers, which I think I stuck in there as well. And also the voice of Gruffydd ap Llewellyn, the last king of Wales. Maybe I should have got a real Welshman in to do it, but they might not have done the Rod Gilbert voice as well as me. So until we get Rod Gilbert, then I'm going to do all the Welsh kings. So there. I wonder what Owain Glyndŵr will sound like. He'll probably sound like this. I wonder what King Arthur will sound like. He'll probably sound like this. I wonder what Owain Lorgok and Llewellyn the Last will sound like. They'll probably sound like this. If you have enjoyed this particularly silly episode of the Silly History Boys show, then why not rate and review on your chosen podcast platform? And let us know on social media. We're all over the Facebook still. We're all over the Instagram still. We don't do Twitter anymore, but there's talk of doing TikTok anyway. So yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, do let us know. And if you really enjoyed it and you'd like to buy us a Ko-Fi or a coffee or a Ko-Fi on Ko-Fi, then you can follow the link on the show to our Ko-Fi account where you can give us a little bit of money. Thank you very much if you do, and it just makes things a little bit more easy. And obviously one day we're going to try and do this as a job. We're going to get to 100 episodes, unless we all fall out. Hope we don't. Anyway, we'll see you next time for another extremely silly edition of The Silly History Boys Show. Thank you, bye, and bye. Bye. It's 10:23, which means he's just died, and someone has just farted.
I thought I'd get away with it, but I didn't.
How could you possibly think?